Now you can.
Yes.
You know, never forget it though. And this got me to an employer. This gave me the you know, if, of all the questions you asked. Remember when we was talking about to dress up, dress like when you dress up, kind of dress a level up. You know, for the job you get. It was a business like a business job I was trying to get at this company. I won't say the name, but the first interview question the lady asked me was, because I had a suit on and a tie. Do you always dress like that? But I'm pretty sure she was trying to gain a reaction. I didn't react, other than the fact I just answered, "I'm here for a job interview. This is how you dress for a job interview." That's all I told her. But you know, it was one of those things where it did take me for a loop. I'm like,
Caught you off.
I'm like, because I guess, but that, you know, that's a lot. I mean, like I said before, I ended up getting the job, but that's just one of the things that you have to, you know, understand. You know, having that negative attitude, she could have been looking at that more than anything, right? More than anything. So I didn't have one, so it went well when it came to that. And I actually got to have a year's experience in the business office, which I had never done before in my life. So, you know, one of those things. Not following directions as well. It's one of the things. Me and Mike went to we went to something over at ACT. We went to some interviews, right? They gave us a set of things that they supposed to have. Lack of preparation was one of the things. Now he got a little different with it. Now he got a little different with it. He is all over people. But me, I had a little more because a couple of them are nervous and things like that. But you know, it was pretty mock anyway, but it was still good experience for them in case they did go, you know, into a employer. They might go into an employer that, you know, wants everything, you know, wants the, you know, the sheets tucked in and the quarter flip off of. They might want that, right? But they also might want one that just wants your bed fixed or whatever. You know what I mean? But kind of looking neat. So lack of preparation is one of those things. You have to understand that. These are some, you know, red flags in a mock interview that might come up. This is the way, but the way to handle it is the way we're trying to talk to you about these things and trying to tell you these things. And that's a lot of it as well, you know. But the lack of not following directions, that's you know, that's one of those things too that, you know, that gets me, because you know, one thing, like I was telling you, this is more like when you are employed more than in an interview. But if I'm, you know, giving you clear instructions, but I'm not. I was telling some people earlier, I'm not an over the top of your shoulder type boss or a micromanager, right? Nick, I tell you, can you do this for me? I let it go. Nick ain't wrote a thing down. He ain't wrote nothing down. And guess what? I don't say a thing the whole day about it. The next day, I ask him, you get that done? And look, you know, he looks at it like you're looking now. No, because he didn't write it down, right? So that's that. So here's the thing. I'm not looking to catch him in anything. Don't get me wrong. Because guess what I've told Nick before in other meetings? Not only Nick, Chad, Mike, please, you know, get you a pen and pad so you can write some stuff down. I can't put the pad in your hand. I guess I could, but why would I do that, right? I mean, this is the thing.
Yeah.
You know, right. So once you do that's a lot of it. To follow directions though. That's it. But guess what? There might be my directions. But here's the thing. I'm not saying that there's been many times when people have said, you think you want to do it that way? And guess what? I listen. Communication. I listen, right? So I mean, but you have to have that communication. But that's the same thing with an employer. They have to be able to listen too, right? Now doing an interview, you probably don't want to go that way. It's their company, right? And you might have some great ideas for them. You might want to say those for a little time later, you know, whatever. 100%. I think it's 100%.
Yeah, and you just touched on what I feel like is a common mistake is a lot of people come in way too strong. You know, I'm hiring you for an entry level position, and you come into an interview talking about what you're going to do to fix the company. That's probably not a good look, you know. So you know, I even would say I would, from an interviewer standpoint, I would rather see somebody a little bit with a little bit of nerves, because I know I'm going to be able to train them. I know they care.
Yeah.
Than just someone that's coming in day one, you know, want to just take over everything.
100%. I think, you know, building that confidence, practicing. You got to practice some of these things too. These interviews as well. Practice, man.
Yeah.
Practice as we finish up. Practice, man. You lot of these things, you know.
Yeah,
That's where the confidence comes from. The confidence comes from that.
There's been a
practice.
few interviews I went to, I wish I would have practiced before I studied, or, you know.
I'll say that just like extra practice that individuals can do, I'll name drop this one, or I typically wouldn't just because it's a good article, but there's an article on Indeed where you can look up 20 most common interview questions, and on there it'll give you what the employer is looking for, a good example from the question, and at that point you should, or a good example answer, and then at that point you should write down your answer to those common interview questions, because that will have you outright make it into your head, gives you something that you can practice with, stand in front of a mirror, practice, do some research on the company, and all those things will help your nervousness come down because you're more and more prepared.
Plus, whatever you're applying for, you can do a mock interview for that job.
100%. Some couple things. Tell me about yourself. That's one question, right? Why should we hire you? What's your greatest strength, or what is your weakness you need to work on, right? Describe a challenge that you had to overcome in the past. That's it. Those are some things. Just so definitely some mock interview kind of questions you could have yourself prepared for and be ready for.
Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's a big one there at the end. They say, do you have any questions for us?
Right. I mean, you know, what will make you feel confident? That's the whole thing. You know, I always go back to school. You're a lot more confident at the test you study for. Didn't say it went the way you wanted to, but you sure was a lot really, really confident about it, right? Before you did that. So that's the thing. So, you know,
I say kind of tagging on to that one, be yourself. People are always more confident when you're outright full-blown being yourself.
Yeah.
Do that inside, do that inside of the interview too. You don't have to outright necessarily show everything, you know, but having your personality in there goes back into what the employers are looking for. They're not going to have no person in there that they're going to find completely boring, that's not going to mesh with the team that they have there, or whatever it might be. You know, so show your personality a little bit. You know, it'll go a long way inside of the interview.
Definitely.
A lot of people kind of get that. Okay, my name is so-and-so, this is what I do, this is why I'm here, yada, yada, yada. You know, don't do all that. You know, be calm, be yourself. Answer your question how you would if you wasn't in an interview.
right. And, you know, just closing out, you know, I really just want to, you know, thank you all for being here. You know, I really, just for the viewers, the people that watch this, you know, prepare, you know, for common questions during an interview, right?
Definitely.
Dress appropriately, dress professionally, and present yourself well. This is what we're asking you to do, right? Be honest about your past while focusing on your growth in your future, right? And have that confidence, right? By practicing preparation is what I want to speak about. You know, just, you know, I really want to shout out, you know, Keanu Moore, who is the, you know, executive director of Just a Bunch of Felons. And, you know, you know, like I said, we in partnership with him to, you know, teach workplace readiness and financial literacy. You know, and like I said, for a while we may not do it this month, no signees, we're going to keep going. And I think that's why we had the show to keep, you know, understand that, you know, I appreciate her. I mean, I'm super proud of her. I think that, you know, we're going to keep on going. I don't let, you know, what we're doing now, and sometimes not, you know, participation, that's not, you know, going to stop, especially if you have a mission, right? And, you know, our mission is, you know, get the information out to the community, positive information out, right? Add new people on, you know, that are willing to come on, right? And speak about things that, you know, sometimes we don't always speak about, right? But so if you watch this today, I'm not saying I ain't gonna say it was the most watched show. I ain't saying that either, but you can never walk away not having at least a playlist of how to be prepared for any interview for anyone, right?
Yeah.
So we were definitely, you know, I told you when we first started this, it wasn't only about a person who had just recently got out of prison. It's also for a young, you know, like somebody young who had never had a job, or somebody who wants to change the position and get into another atmosphere in the workplace, right? So remember those things. Remember, you know, definitely remember that, you know, it matters. It matters. Preparation matters. Just like when we say it does matter as well. I want to thank, you know, everybody for listening. We have a few things coming up. We definitely have Camp Elevate starts June 15th for TSK. That's going to be a big time. Camp Elevate is going to be a big time, big joyous time. We're going to have the Limit 25 youth that are going to, area youth that will come and, they'll be over definitely at the Multicultural Center on Washington Street, 100 not Washington Street. And if you can go to our website, we have a QR code to sign up. Like I said before, it's a great, super great camp. That's with super great counselors. Like I said, it's a good experience for the kids. This is the second year we've been doing it. And like I said, I'm super excited for it as well. I praise God the fact we've been able to do it as well. We have a couple more things we're going to roll out. TSK prevention for life, literacy for life. We're going to, definitely roll that out. We just received a $50,000 definitely donation for an award for, this actual mission that we're going to do, which is kind of blend in literacy with recovery as well. And for the youth as well. So trying to do the preventive side more than the reactive side. I mean, there's people out there doing great reactive stuff as well, but let's get it before we have to do that. I think that's the key as well. We'll have some other things coming up as well. We got some real powerful guests coming up next 2 weeks. So look out, look on Facebook, YouTube as well. We'll be on there, like I said before, with some great, interviews. Definitely different things, that people are trying, different avenues. We can never stop trying, right? We can never stop trying to help. We can never stop trying to serve. We can never stop trying to, bring on people that definitely can grow and people can see that you can step out there and do anything, right? And with the right preparation. Let's get that right with the right preparation. So this is the end, Collective Conversations, and thank you until next week.